Well, hello everyone. Welcome to World at War Comics. Today, I want to talk about Mad Cave Studios. Over the last 3 months, I've been fortunate to be able to meet and speak with on the podcast Mark London, the CEO, founder of Mad Cave, and the chief creative officer of Mad Cave. And what an amazing human being to start with. Just so hospitable. Really enjoyed our conversation and the plans that Mark has for Mad Cave um, is just next level. Some of the things that they're doing, I don't see a lot of other publishers doing. They're really diversifying, really setting themselves up for success, and also hopefully trying to create a path to Mad Cave Comics starting at a very young age with a couple of their imprints, Paper Cuts and Mavericks, which both cover young, probably like 12 and under, and then kind of that middle-aged group leading up to the comic books. So they're doing some amazing things. Go back on our YouTube and check out that Mark London interview. It was a blast. Absolutely incredible. I felt so honored. I've read Battle Cats. I'm familiar with Mark London, and to have him on the podcast was really an honor. And then as we started talking, as they're going into their 10-year anniversary, just the excitement that you could sense in Mark about everything that's taking place at Mad Cave right now. It was contagious. And so I started to re-dive back into Mad Cave. Obviously, I had some older titles from Mad Cave, mainly from Mark. But boy, I jumped back in. And with all these new titles coming out, that's really what I wanted to cover today. But before we do that, one more thing is yesterday I had the honor of having Mike Marts on. So if you're not familiar with Mike Marts has been an editor for 20 plus years, probably close to 30 years. He has been an editor at Marvel. He's been an editor at DC on some of the top titles. And so he has an amazing experience. Then he moved over and was editor in chief over at Aftershock. And then I think he went back to Marvel and just listen to our interview. He really goes through it in detail. And it's an incredible experience that he gained through all of this, which led him in 2022 to come over to the Mad Cave family. And what a match with Mark and with Mike and with the rest of the team that they have. The things that they are doing right now, I think, are absolutely amazing. And the titles that they are playing around with right now, next level. So hopefully, by hearing me out, you're going to get a little excited about these titles, just like I am. And so one by one, I'm just going to go over just a few titles. Obviously, not everything. They have a lot coming out, but there's a couple I think that are very significant, at least for me as a fan. I felt they were significant and significant enough to cover, you know, over this podcast. So let's check it out. Okay. So the first title that I would like to talk to you about first is Flash Gordon. I'm going to bring up Flash Gordon because Flash Gordon is currently written by one of my favorite writers, Jeremy Adams. If you're not familiar with Jeremy Adams, I would really encourage you to dive in to at least his last two titles that he has written because they have been amazing. He is currently a writer for DC Comics. He had an amazing Flash run. And then about a year ago, they moved him to Green Lantern. And what he's doing at Green Lantern, coupled with what Philip Kennedy Johnson is doing with War Journal, Green Lantern, they've really set up Green Lantern for amazing success. So if you're like me and you're a big Green Lantern fan, you got to be in Green Lantern heaven right now with the two titles that we're getting, with the HBO series coming up, all kinds of great things. But anyways, he's over at DC and he's writing Green Lantern, and he also has been brought over to Mad Cave to take over Flash Gordon. Now I'm 49 years old, so if you're half my age, like a lot of folks are when I'm on TikTok and on YouTube, maybe you're not too familiar with Flash Gordon. You are about to dive into a very fun sci-fi world that Jeremy Adams, who is close to my age or is my age, he grew up around this as well and is a huge fan of Flash Gordon. And if you were in your LCS during Free Comic Book Day, hopefully you were able to pick up Flash Gordon Zero because that was kind of our first peek into what we could expect from Flash Gordon. And like I said, if you've read Jeremy Adams, Green Lantern, and or Flash, you know it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be action packed, and it's going to be just incredible that you could hand it over to your teenagers just to read. He's just an amazing writer, and you can just see the passion of everything that he loves about comics, especially titles that he loves. It really comes through in his writing. So we got Jeremy Adams on writing duties on Flash Gordon, and then you have Will Conrad. So if you've been around a while, you know Will Conrad is one of the top artists in the world. Done a lot of amazing things for many publishers, but my most fond memories is on DC. You have Lee Luridge, who is the colorist. And when you see the colors in this Flash title, you're going to say, okay, yep, I get it. And then Taylor Esposito is the letterer on this. So let me just give you kind of the date real quick of when you could expect issue one to hit stores, because it's coming, I believe, next week. If not next week, very soon after. Bear with me as I pull it up real quick. But man, issue zero was just so much fun. Of course, right when I say something, I can't find it. But anyways, it is coming very soon. I will put all the information below, but you got to get your hands on Flash Gordon. Okay, here we go. So Flash Gordon 1 will be in stores July 24th. And they will have, it looks like, 3 different covers for issue number 1. But man, I'm telling you, pick this up. You're going to love Jeremy Adams if you're not familiar with him. His writing style is absolutely incredible. And then, come on, Will Conrad on art. I don't even know how they got that done. I even asked Mike yesterday, like, how is that possible for you to get Jeremy Adams and Will Conrad together? So that's the first title that I want to mention that you should be picking up. The second title I'm really excited about as well, and it's called Defenders of the Earth. And if you know anything about Flash Gordon, then you're familiar with Defenders of the Earth because they're related. Let's just say that. So Defenders of the Earth, which I'm really excited about, and one of the reasons why I'm excited about is Dan Didio is the writer on this. And if you don't know who Dan Didio is, I mean, he ran DC Comics. The guy is incredible. Some of the top talent in comic books today who came from DC worked under Dan Didio. And most of the people that you talk to that mention him absolutely love him. Now, I've talked to Dan a few times. Hopefully, he'll be coming on the podcast in the next couple of months. He's been extremely busy, obviously, doing some of his own comics with Frank Miller and that imprint. But he will be doing Defenders of the Earth. And man, it looks absolutely incredible. Let's see when the date of Defenders of the Earth is going to be coming out. I'm trying to see right now. It looks like August 14th. So we're going to have to wait a little bit on this, but it's going to be worth it. Trust me, it's going to be worth it. You got Dan on writing duties, and with his experience and being in the industry as long as he has, this is going to be a banger. It's going to be a banger, everybody. So make sure that you are getting both of those titles. Now, I jumped into a title called Dear Editor. And when I first saw it, I thought, I'm not too sure about this one. This one just looks a little different, right? It's literally like a human with a deer head. But I'm watching a podcast. I'm trying to remember which podcast I'm watching. It might have been Critical Thinker, and it was Wes on a Saturday talking about the comics of the week that he enjoyed, and he said he was blown away by Dear Editor. So I went ahead and I jumped in. Let me just share the creative team. So it's Ryan Lindsay on writing duties. It's Sammy Cavella on art. It's Lauren Affey on colors, and then it's Jim Campbell on letters. You're going to love this comic book. It came out in January. You can still find them in stores, but this has been a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. Just to be very honest, it didn't look like something that I would be really interested in, and I jumped in, and it is kind of a crime noir. I don't know how to explain it, but if you like Black Sad or you like Chinatown, this is definitely going to be one of those titles that you're going to enjoy. In fact, they call it the Antler Noir just because of the deer being the lead role. So that's one that I think you should pick up because I was pleasantly surprised. All right, so then we get into Dick Tracy. This one blew me away. I didn't grow up around Dick Tracy. That's a little bit older than me, but I'm certainly aware of who Dick Tracy is. I have some old, Silver Age comics of Dick Tracy. But check out the creative team on Dick Tracy. We got Alex Segura on writing duties. We have Michael Moretti on writing duties with Alex. We have Geraldo Borges on art. We have Chantel, who is one of the creative consultants. And then we have Jim, who is, you're going to see this name come up a lot. He's a letterer on the Mad Cave team and an incredible editor at that. But yeah, Dick Tracy, issue 1, got it. It was freaking amazing. It's everything that you want in a like crime book. It's still got the yellow jacket, right? So it's still Dick Tracy, but it's extremely modern. The story was modern. Congratulations to the creative team on this. But if you're not picking up Dick Tracy, you're making a mistake because it is that good. I really, really, really enjoyed it. All right, so let's go on to another title here that Mike and I were talking about. So one of the titles that he was extremely excited about that I personally haven't picked up yet, and I need to get on it because it did already come out, but that is Gatchaman. So if you're into, iconic anime, manga, this Japanese animated franchise is now at Mad Cave, and it looks absolutely incredible. What is amazing is I consider him more of a horror writer because I think he's amazing at it, but he also, obviously has a lot of diversity in his writing skills. But it's Colin Bunn. I've had him on the podcast. What an incredible guy, amazing writer. But yeah, they got Colin Bunn on writing duties, Chris Batista, who has been a huge, long time fan of Gatchaman. And you'll hear that in my interview with Mike. If you go back and listen to that, we have Carlos Lopez on colors, and then Buddy Bu Dioing on colors as well. Buddy, I apologize if I pronounce your last name wrong. But Gatchaman came out June 26th. So issue 1 is already out there. So I'm going to go to my local comic book store and pick that up, especially after talking to Mike yesterday. The art looks incredible. The colors look incredible. So I'm going to jump on this. But this is another one he says you don't want to miss out on because this title is got off to a huge start, and they're very excited about where this is going to go here in the near future. All right, so there's those ones. Here's one that I saw via email. I'm on the email list with Mad Cave, and they sent me a snippet of a new comic book called Kosher Mafia. This thing looks freaking amazing. Amazing. It's a story that takes place in Cleveland, Ohio in 1936. There is a bookkeeper, a Jewish bookkeeper by the name of Howard Berkowitz, and he is working for the Jewish mob, and he finds himself at the wrong end of an enforcer's gun. And when he tries to spur the kosher mafia into action against this rising tide of domestic Nazism and the German American bun, everything goes wrong. And if you look at some of the art, you could go right now to Mad Cave Studios and just look up Kosher Mafia. The art on this thing looks absolutely incredible. Issue 2, the cover is a bloody hand with the Star of David and its fist. It's just an incredible cover. I am so excited about this. And here's the team. So if you love Nottingham from Mad Cave, which is one of their top titles, I would think, David Hazan is the writer of Kosher Mafia. And I am fortunate to have him on the show next week. So I cannot wait to upload that episode. I am so excited to talk to him. We have Sammy Cavella on art. We have Ellie Wright as the colorist, and we have Simon Bolin on letters on this, but you do not want to miss Kosher Mafia. It's probably one of the titles outside of The Flash, just because it's Jeremy Adams, that I'm most excited about, just because it looks freaking incredible. Absolutely incredible. So that's another title that you're definitely going to want to check out. Don't miss out on this one, because yeah, you're going to be upset if you did. And then there was one more title that I wanted to just kind of talk to you about that the entire team over at Mad Cave was very excited about. Bear with me. Well, there's a couple, I guess. There's Sanction, which already has come out, and I'm late to the game. Oh, here it is. There's a couple more I'm going to mention. Okay, so the next title is When the Blood Has Dried. This one I'm really excited about. I have started reading this one, and it is amazing. It is written by the amazing Irish comic book writer Gary Maloney. I've had him on the podcast. We just had a blast, man. I felt like I knew him forever. So go back and watch that. He had Daniel Romero on art, and then Becca Carey on letters, which Becca seems to do a lot of lettering as well over at Matt Cave. But Gary is a fantastic human being. I had a blast talking to him, and I've already started When the Blood Has Dried. It is a kind of a fantasy sword and sorcery, but definitely from a different angle. So check it out. I think you're going to really like it. I've actually really loved it. It's been a lot of fun, and I cannot wait to finish out that series. Hopefully, all of you have already read You've Been Canceled. So it's already kind of gone through its first series. So we'll see if there's a second series. That I don't know, but it's written by Kurt Pyers, who's written a lot of other amazing things. Art by Kevin Castanero. He is on art. Jason Wordy is the colorist, and Micah Myers on letters. But this is a title that you should be reading. You've Been Canceled. It is incredible. It takes place in the future where someone does something wrong, they get canceled, and then they have all these bounty hunters that it's almost a game that you could watch on TV of these bounty hunters trying to find this person who's been canceled. And the first bounty hunter to kill that person who's been canceled wins. And so it follows the top bounty hunter. But this was a fun comic. Came out of nowhere. I'm like looking at this going, I don't even know what I'm looking at. Took it home, read it, fell in love, fell in love, fell in love. So, and then the last one I'm going to mention is Sanction. And this is another one that so you get it to pop up here. That the art on it looks incredible. It's a story that takes place in 1987 when a woman's corpse is discovered on New Year's Day, and a hungover detective named is Pavel hands off this case to a partner of his, a detective named Boris, hoping he would close it without any issues. And it just uncovers a connection to an old unsolved crime, and it just goes on and on from there. The creative team on this is Ray Fox. He is the writer on it. The story is incredible. I've read the first issue. You have Antonio Fuso on art, Emilio Lecce on colors. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that right. And then Dave Sharp on letters. So incredible. Art is incredible. It's beautiful. The first issue came out in May, so it's fairly new. June 26th, issue 2 should be in stores, followed by July 31st, and then May 15th. I believe it is a 4 or 5 part series to start off with, but you're going to love it. The art is incredible, and the story is insane. So anyways, that's my Mad Cave story for today. I just, after talking to Mark and then talking to Mike, I thought it'd be appropriate to really cover them in a little bit more detail on all the incredible things that they're doing. And I really didn't even talk about Maverick or Paper Cuts, which are their 2 imprints for young and middle-aged children, which are also, they're working with some big names, big names and big titles to bring into those imprints in order to, attract that next generation of hopefully comic book readers over at Mad Cave. Hopefully you enjoy this. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will link everything below, but get into your LCS. Make sure that they're ordering Mad Cave for you, and make sure it's in your pull box. I promise you, at least the titles that I have read, that I have mentioned, I'll put my name on them. They have been incredible. All right, everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. And thanks for joining me today. And we'll talk soon. Thanks, everybody.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.